the National News Studio, Sri Lanka.
This is the National News Telecast. I'm Vinay Chowdhury.
A very good evening to you. I'm Sharifa Tahir. Let's take a look at the headlines.
A new law to transform the Colombo port city to Colombo financial zone. The budget on the November 13th. A special discussion among Minister Gunawardena, railway trade unions and administrative representatives. A new draft bill for the establishment of a state loan management institute. 33 Russian officers in Crimea killed in a Ukraine missile attack. The Sri Lankan squad participating in the ICC Men's Cricket World Cup to leave the country tonight. Now to those and more stories in detail on today's top story. President Ranil Wickremesinghe says new legal provisions are being drafted to transform the Colombo port city to the Colombo financial zone.
He also said that steps will be taken to establish an economic commission aimed at resolving disputes will take place in the Board of Investments. President Ranil Wickremesinghe, in his address at the 2023 Commercial Mediation Symposium at the Hilton Hotel, Colombo, emphasized the need for a cultural shift towards efficient dispute resolution in Sri Lanka. He acknowledged the long-standing reliance on trial courts and stressed the importance of embracing alternate dispute resolution methods. Highlighting the government's commitment, he mentioned the establishment of the Alternate Dispute Resolution Centre in 2018 and expressed support for its continued growth. President Wickremesinghe urged the Ministry of Justice and Ministry of Investments to collaborate on supporting these initiatives. He emphasized that success in dispute resolution was crucial for aspirations to be an outward-looking economy. The President mentioned forthcoming legislation to transform the port city as a Colombo financial zone and the transition from the Board of Investments to the Economic Commission, both aimed at resolving disputes efficiently. President Wickremesinghe also underscored the significance of international trade agreements and the need for Sri Lanka to become a centre for alternate dispute resolution.
Alternate dispute resolution or arbitration both have a long way to travel in Sri Lanka, and that's our problem. We have to first find ways of how we can adjust to this process. While all this is helpful, you need a change of culture. Change of culture where disputes can be resolved in the shortest possible time. We need alternate dispute resolution. If we are to succeed as outward-looking economy, remember that in business, time is money. You have to remember that and go ahead. Now we want Sri Lanka to be a center. One is the new legislation which will replace the port city to make it a Colombo financial zone with jurisdiction for offshore activity. The new law is being drafted and we will see the light of day before end of the year. Secondly is the BOI will be replaced with the Economic Commission, which is also looking at the resolution of disputes. So both these agencies are necessary because we will be entering a number of free trade agreements. So this means that alternate dispute resolutions are going to be important and we have to ensure that Sri Lanka is the same.
The third alternative resolution or dispute is the arbitration. Quite correctly, we are not happy about the progress of arbitration. Expected results are not yielded. The delay is as much as in courts. The expenses sometimes higher than the expenses incurred in ordinary courts. I think this is the port stage where we are trying to adopt a new mediation system, that is to resolve commercial dispute through mediation by following some conventions adopted by the UN, especially based on Singapore Convention. During the last 10 months, we have passed more than 30 legislations in the field of administration of justice. There are many more to come and there will be drastic changes.
Improving an environment to facilitate trade, investments, and overall businesses is a top priority of the reform agenda in Sri Lanka at this point. Ensuring an enabling environment is imperative for Sri Lanka's path towards rapid and sustainable economic growth. The United Nations Development Programme, or UNDP, has been a long-standing partner to the government in advancing businesses, investments, and trade facilitation initiatives in the country. To this end, we have recently collaborated with multiple stakeholders from both the public and private sectors, undertaking a range of initiatives in alignment with the country's reform agenda. While collecting insights from the private sector, it became very evident that the time it takes and the lack of predictability in dispute resolution mechanisms in Sri Lanka were some of the prominent deterrence factors for the investors, as disputes and conflicts can often arise in any business transactions. A swift dispute resolution is key. Therefore, in addition to the conventional court system, recognizing the effectiveness of alternative dispute resolution or ADR mechanisms, UNDP under the Jury project has joined hands to work towards the greater effectiveness of the ADR mechanisms.
The Cabinet of Ministers granted approval to draft the Bill of Appropriation for the financial year 2024.
Accordingly, the clearance of the Attorney General has been received for the draft appropriation bill. The Cabinet of Ministers approved the resolution furnished by President to publish the draft bill in the Government Gazette notification and subsequently to table the same in the Parliament for its concurrence. State Minister Ranjit Siambalapitiya said that the appropriation bill for the financial year 2024 is expected to be presented to the Parliament in the second week of October. The second reading of the budget will be held on November 13th and the debate will be conducted from November 14th to the 21st. The vote for the second reading will be held on the same day. The committee-level debate will begin on November 22nd and continue until December 13th. The State Minister said the vote for the third reading of the bill will be held on the same day as well.
The Cabinet of Ministers granted approval to direct the legal draftsman to draft the Bill of the State Loan Management Act. The importance of the establishment of a State Loan Management Institute as an institutional reformation was emphasized in the supplementary budget of 2022. Technical assistance has been rendered by the International Monetary Fund and World Bank in order to establish the proposed State Loan Management Institute. The Loan Management Reformation Plan, Loan Management Institutional Framework and Legal Framework have been planned following discussions with the stakeholders. The Cabinet Ministers approved a resolution to direct the legal draftsman to draft a bill for amending the Inland Revenue Act. An agreement has been reached to amend the Inland Revenue Tax to enable to request tax relief by any legitimate charity establishment that provides health facilities to children with disabilities in society. Cabinet of Ministers approved the proposal presented by Minister Kanchana Wijesekara to award the contract to purchase 4 consignments of diesel to MS Petrochina International Singapore Private Limited upon the recommendation of the Cabinet-appointed Special Procurement Committee. The Ceylon Petroleum Corporation had received 5 bids to purchase diesel during the period of 4 months from November 1st, 2023 to February 29th, 2024. There is a rapidly increasing risk of forest fire caused by man-made fires around forests, especially during dry weather conditions. The Cabinet of Ministers approved the proposal presented by Minister Pavitravani Arachi to implement a program to prevent the occurrence of forest fires and extinguish forest fires. The number of forest fires reported so far this year is about 150. As a result, around 2,600 hectares of forest have been destroyed.
Minister Ali Sabri has met with Indian External Affairs Minister S. Jaishankar on the sidelines of the United Nations General Assembly in New York recently. Speaking to Indian media, Minister said that Sri Lanka is looking to strengthen the Indo-Sri Lankan relations and shared thoughts over the recent dispute between India and Canada.
Very good to always to meet my friend Dr. Jaishankar. We just had a small conversations as to how we strengthen the Sri Lankan relationship, and also I have invited him to visit Sri Lanka for the IORA. He promised that he will try his level best to make it and to take the country forward, and the great relationship that we have to strengthen that. So basically I think that's what is very important. IORA, we are saying that Indian Ocean identity, strengthen the regional architecture. We have to look after our region. We need to work together. That's how we can create a peaceful environment there, and we should not be dictated by anyone else as to how we should conduct our affairs. India is growing, one of the fastest growing, largest economies. That growth path is very important. Together with that, the region must grow. So we have seen a big opportunity here. So that's the idea. We are trying to, in electricity, renewable energy, tourism, port, shipping, connectivity. We are looking at forging closer relationship with your country. I'm sure we will be able to do that, and that will be better for both countries. And we want a good region with prosperity, peace and harmony among all. So, as I always say, until everyone is safe, no one is safe. It's true for the region. So we want a good neighbor, prosperous neighbor. India is going that path. We want to go with them. Prime Minister Trudeau comes out.
During the interview with the Indian media, Minister Ali Sabri has condemned the Canadian Prime Minister, Justin Trudeau's recent statements made against India.
Associated with the Nazis in the past.
Minister Bandaranaike engaged in a special discussion with the trade union and administrative representatives of the Railways Department. The meeting was held at the Ministry of Transport and Highways. During the meeting, the minister said that he had tabled many cabinet papers as a subject minister within the last 1 and 4 month period towards the betterment of the Railways Department. The minister has pointed out that the costs pertaining to the Railways Department have been reduced and the revenues have been increased up to a certain extent. He rejected the allegations made against him pertaining to his ministerial activities, and he said that legal action would be taken against them. The minister said that the vacant positions in the department will be filled with experienced and qualified professionals. He further said that the cabinet paper to convert the Railways Department and to continue the operational activities of the institution through a board of directors instead of a general manager has been tabled. Accordingly, Minister Gunawardena said that the Cabinet of Ministers has handed over the responsibility to inquire into this matter to a specialist board. The report of this committee will be handed over in 2 months. State Minister Shanta Bandara has been appointed as the Acting Minister of Ministry of Mass Media. The relevant appointment has been made by President Ranil Wickremesinghe. The relevant appointment has been made to look into the functions of the mass media ministerial portfolio until Minister Bandaranaike returns to the country from a foreign tour. Large crowds are seen gathering to the BMICH premises to visit the Colombo International Book Fair.
The national television is the official electronic media partner.
Day 5 of the Colombo International Book Fair 2023, and still the crowds are coming in. It's raining, pouring outside, but so many people walking in. Sixteen new children's books were launched just today, and that's just the start of it as well. 100,000 crowd each day, and this will be going on for 5 more days. So bring your children, bring your friends, bring everybody, because reading will definitely make it a nation, and that is what we can find here at the Colombo International Book Fair 2023.
The 64th commemoration of the former Prime Minister, late SWRD Bandaranaike, was held today.
The commemorations of the former Prime Minister and late Sirmao Bandaranaike and former late Speaker Anura Bandaranaike were also held in parallel to the event.
The commemorative ceremony was held near the Bandaranaike Memorial in Horogolle this morning. Religious rites were performed by Deputy Chief Prelate of the Askiriya chapter, Venerable Anamadue Dhammadesithera and Venerable Pannila Ananda Thera. The main sermon of the event was delivered by Deputy Chief Prelate of the Malwatu chapter, Venerable Niyangoda Vijayasiri Thera. Subsequently, all religious rites were performed. Former President Chandrika Bandaranaike Kumaratunga and Sunetra Bandaranaike, along with family members, offered floral tributes to the memorial. Prime Minister Dinesh Gunawardena, former President Maithripala Sirisena, ministers, parliamentarians and public representatives were present at the occasion.
Meanwhile, parliamentarian Mahinananda Alutkamage emphasizes the need to establish a dedicated unit for overseeing institutions responsible for generating tax revenue, including the Inland Tract Revenue Department. He made these remarks during a press conference held today at the Presidential Media Centre under the theme Collective Path Towards a Stable Country. MP Alutkamage said that in 2022, the total number of personal tax files recorded stood at 292,000, and he said that this number represents only 290,000 tax files, meaning that only 10% of the eligible taxes have been paid through these files. Furthermore, he said there are 105,000 registered companies, but only 15% of them are contributing to the tax revenue. He added that a significant of 86% of the government's revenue is sourced from a mere 494 companies. He also said the Inland Revenue Department employs 2,500 individuals, and these 494 institutions account for 86% of country's prime revenue. He pointed out that addressing irregularities within these institutions could potentially boost revenue by an impressive 500 billion. He said that Customs Department faces a daily loss of 1 billion rupees, totaling 180 billion rupees in losses annually. Due to inefficient and irregularities, the Customs incurs yearly loss of 360 billion rupees, while the Excise Department loses 60 million rupees each year.
An expert conference under the theme Reforming State Institutes for a New Development Entry was held at the Ministry of Finance today. It was organized by President's Trade Union Relations Unit. Director General of the President's Trade Union Relations, Saman Ratnapriya, said that the country was transformed into a nation which was unable to make loan repayments in the recent past. However, he said that they managed to pass that period and transitioning into a better state at present. Minister Kanchana Wijesekara said that the Ceylon Petroleum Corporation continued to incur losses due to the concessionary rates extended for the benefit of the people. Accordingly, he said that the state institutions continue to incur losses for more than 20 years since the tsunami disaster times. He said that the government is taking measures to bring stability to the country at least within the next 10 years in order to empower the nation. The Infotel Information Technology Exhibition will be held at the BMICH from November 3rd to the 5th.
This event aligns with the President Ranil Wickremesinghe's initiative to modernize Sri Lanka through digitization. Remarks were shared during a media briefing today at the Presidential Media Centre, presided over by Minister Kanaka Herath. The exhibition themed Fueling the Digital Economy is being conducted under the guidance of the State Ministry of Technology. This exhibition offers the opportunity to engage in government's policies regarding the digital economy. It aims to enhance and expand the network connectivity, bolster digital infrastructure, fortify digital systems and solutions, and promote cashless transactions and enhance the workforce necessary for advancing the digital economy. The State Minister underscored that developed countries have already digitized their public services, resulting in an increased efficiency, and the exhibition is a step towards achieving the goal of establishing a digitized Sri Lanka by 2030. Chairman of the Sri Lanka Information Technology Industry Board, Indika Disoisa, shared projections that Sri Lankan digital economy would contribute approximately $50 billion to state revenue by 2030. He emphasized that the exhibition will play a pivotal role in fostering digital innovation ecosystem and enhancing digital research and promoting widespread use of digital technology in the country.
A magnitude 2.4 tremor had occurred in Buttala Munaragala area at 11:20 last night. The Geological Survey and Mines Bureau has indicated that the tremor had been recorded in all 4 seismic gauges established in the country. Assistant Director of the Munaragala District Disaster Management Unit, Ravindra Kumara, said that the tremor was mostly felt in Badalkumbura area, even though it occurred in Buttala. No damages or post-tremor conditions were reported following the tremor. Several minor tremors were reported from Buttala area in previous occasions.
The Colombo District Court suspended the interim injunction preventing the implementation of a letter issued to the former General Secretary of Sri Lanka Freedom Party today. The letter was issued by the chairman of the party, MP Dayasiri Jayasekara, calling for explanations. After considering the complaint lodged by Dayasiri Jayasekara, the Colombo District Court issued an interim injunction order to effective until the 5th. Appearing for the defendant, former President Maithripala Sirisena, the attorney pointed out that the Central Committee of the party has the authority to issue such a letter. The attorney also pointed out the complaint has been obtained and the interim injunction by concealing the truth and requesting the court to issue an order to dismiss the injunction. After considering the submissions, the court ordered to suspend the injunction order. The case will be taken up for hearing on November 5th.
National Water Supply and Drainage Board says a program to issue water bills via online methodology will be initiated in 4 areas of the country from the 1st of next month. This will be an initiative to be implemented island-wide in the near future, according to the board. Deputy General Manager of the Water Supply and Drainage Board, P.L. Padmanatha, said that as the pilot project, the online water bills will be issued to consumers in Colombo South, Kandy South and Peradeniya, Polonnaruwa and Trincomalee. He also said that the issuance of online water bills will be implemented island-wide from January 1st, 2024. He said that more information in this regard can be obtained by dialing the hotline 1939. Well, that's it on local stories. We'll be back with news overseas.
කොළඹ ජාත්‍යන්තර පොත් ප්‍රදර්ශනය 2023 සැප්තැම්බර් 22 සිට ඔක්තෝබර් 1 දක්වා පෙරළු 9 සිට රාත්‍රී 9 තෙක් BMICH සංවිධානය ශ්‍රී ලංකා පොත් ප්‍රකාශකයින්ගේ සංගමය.
Not foreign news. Ukraine's special forces said that the Sokolov was killed in the Russian-annexed peninsula along with 33 other officials in a missile attack on the headquarters of the Russia's Black Sea Fleet on the port of Tremor yesterday. Ukraine's special forces further said that 105 Russian soldiers were wounded in the strikes. Foreign media reports said that Russia has suffered a string of attacks on the strategically important port of Sevastopol in the recent months. Viktor Sokolov, the commander of Russia's Black Sea Fleet in Crimea, has been shown attending a meeting on the day after Ukraine's special forces claimed he died in a barrage of missiles on the attack of Russia's Black Sea Fleet in the port of Sevastopol. In the video and photographs released by the Russian Defense Ministry shown to the state television today, Sokolov is seen taking part in a video conference with Defense Minister Sergei Shoigu and top admirals and army chiefs.
Foreign media reports that an explosion at a fuel depot in Nagorno-Karabakh has killed 20 people and injured hundreds. Nearly 300 people were admitted to hospitals, with dozens of them reported to be in a critical condition. It comes as the Armenian government said 19,000 refugees had crossed into the country from the enclave since local forces surrendered to Azerbaijan. The disputed region is home to some 120,000 ethnic Armenians. It is not yet clear what caused the explosion near the main city of Khankendi. Petrol stations have been overwhelmed as thousands try to leave the region, which was already suffering from a fuel shortage following a months-long blockade. The only road connecting Armenia to the enclave remains backed up with hundreds of cars and buses filled with ethnic Armenians trying to reach the town of Goris across the border.
Prima Kotumi, Pantamai.
Now, sports news. First, a look at cricketing news. The Cricketing World Cup, the ICC Men's Cricketing World Cup, is scheduled to begin on the October 5th in India, and the Sri Lankan squad taking part in this Cricket World Cup is scheduled to leave the island tonight.
The Sri Lankan contingent for the World Cup series is consisted of 15 players and 2 reserve players. The contingent received the approval of the Sports Minister yesterday. However, Sri Lanka Cricket announced today that Wanindu Hasaranga will not compete in the World Cup due to his injuries. However, Sri Lanka Cricket has further indicated that following recovery, Wanindu Hasaranga will be named as a reserve player and replace any injured player of the squad. The Sri Lanka team will be captained by Dasun Shanaka and Kusal Mendis will be the vice-captain. The squad is consisted of Pathum Nisanka, Kusal Janit Pereira, Charita Salanka, Dimut Karunaratne, Sadira Samaravikrama, Dhananjay De Silva, Tunit Velalage, Mahesh Teekshana, Dilshan Madhushanka, Lahir Kumara, Kasun Rajita, Matisha Pathirana and Dushan Hemanta. The reserve player of the squad, Chamika Karunaratne, will also leave the country today to India. Mahesh Teekshana and Dilshan Madhushanka will compete in the tournament based on their fitness levels. Sri Lanka will compete in 2 practice matches on the 29th and October 3rd against Bangladesh and Afghanistan. Prior to the tournament, Sri Lanka will face against South Africa in their first match on October 7. Sri Lanka will compete in 9 matches in the preliminary round of the tournament. The finals of the ICC Men's Cricket World Cup will be held on November 19th in Ahmedabad.
Meanwhile, Asian Games are underway in China and the athletic events of the Games are scheduled to begin on the 29th. Sri Lankan athletes are extremely optimistic of their chances of medals in these events.
The 19th Asian Games are currently underway in Hangzhou, China. 15 Sri Lankan athletes are contesting in the athletic events at the Games. The first team of the Sri Lankan athletes left to Nanjing 3 weeks before for training purposes. Following a successful training session, they arrived at the Hangzhou Asian Games village today. Sri Lankan athletes will compete in the 400 meters men's and women's competitions.
Prima Kotumi, Pantamai.
That's it for tonight's English News telecast. Thank you for joining us. Good night.